Hi, Larry Berman here, and here's what's on my radar. Well, it's got to be Elon Musk week for lots of reasons. One, Tesla's just been ripping, and it's mind-boggling when you look at that stock and what's driving it. The tweet last weekend, whether he should sell some stock, apparently he's been a big seller all week. That's been widespread reported. On the other side of the ticket, it reminds me of an interview Elon did a couple of years ago. He mentioned 420. He mentioned, I think it was on the Seth Rogen show. In fact, I think he was smoking weed at the time. But next week we get a introduction potentially of a bill coming out of the Republican Party on legalization of marijuana. And so the underperformance of weed stocks for months and months and months, you might recall we were selling into it. I started buying back, in hindsight, a bit too early. We added more to the portfolio last week. We've got this nice smile coming in to the charts, so it's got to be Elon Musk week from that perspective. On one side, the stock ripping higher and now correcting, and on the other side, one of his hobbies and pastimes seems like coming to fruition. So, way to go, Elon. In terms of other events, Russia and Ukraine are at the front of the geopolitical concern. At the same time, Biden's reaching out to OPEC to see what he can do to reduce energy cost. I mean, you have such a foobar here in terms of policy around greening. On one hand, COP26 is over and everyone wants to cut out carbon. On the other side, well, let's see what we can do to bring down the cost of carbon, so we can drive our cars more. It's really a mess from that perspective. And that's kind of what I've been thinking about for the most part this week. As we get closer to the end of the year, we start thinking about tax loss selling in some areas and where there might be some bargains to pick up. I think we'll focus on that in a couple weeks. Hey, for those of you Berman's Call followers out there, this week on our Thursday webinar, we're going to have the portfolio manager from BMO ETF ZPay to talk about how they run the ETF, how they look at option strategies to generate yield from both a put writing perspective and a covered call perspective. I think BMO is one of the best out there that uses option strategies to generate alternative sources of yield. You won't want to miss it. Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Look forward to that conversation with Chris. So the bull pick of the week has to be the medical marijuana play, whether it's MSOS in the US, whether it's Curaleaf, whether it's Canopy, or whether it's a junior might like. It's worth a speculative, and I never talk about speculative, but I do believe we will get legislation in the US for legalization. If the GOP is bringing something, it's going to be a political issue. It's going to get a lot of talking points. We could see another speculative run in these stocks, and I think it's worth participating in. So MSOS, MJ, HMMJ here in Canada, a lot of good ways to play it. On the bear side, for weeks now, I've been saying you got to be cautious on market risk. Large cap tech is still an issue as we sit here late Friday. The FANG stocks are ripping higher. So it's not an easy call here to be cautious on large cap tech, but that's still the area where when you look at rising rates, when you look at inflation and you think what's going to get possibly hurt the most in that environment, long duration assets where the earnings quality is not quite there yet. And those stocks get hurt when there's economic risk to them. Have a great week, everyone.